Bryan Danielson had one hell of a career before joining AEW in 2021, but in terms of the sheer match quality and consistency, the last few years have arguably been the best of his entire career, and up there for one of the greatest runs of any wrestler ever. With full reign to wrestle in the way that he wishes, the best version of Bryan Danielson has been allowed to flourish in All Elite Wrestling, though he has had some incredible matches in the year leading up to his time in All Elite Wrestling. Our wrestling club's rating system will determine the very best of the best when it comes to Danielson's matches throughout his times in WWE, AEW and beyond, and these matches will be compared to the ratings from Cage Match and Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. Welcome to the club. In number 10, we have Bryan Danielson vs Adam Page from AEW Dynamite from the 5th of January 2022 episode. This got a rating from Dave Meltzer of 4.75 and a Cage Match rating of 9.43, and we here at Honor Wrestling Club have given it a rating of 9.25. Following a time limit draw in their previous outing, the desperation to get the job done by both men in this match was felt, adding to both the character work and storytelling of this bout. Both men shed blood, making the action feel more intense and authentic too. It might not have reached the levels of their other match, which we will come to, don't you worry. But it was still a classic in its own right, with Page managing to find a way this time round to defeat Danielson. In number 9, we have Bryan Danielson vs Kenta from Ring of Honor Glory by Honor 5 from 2006. With a Dave Meltzer rating of 4.75 and a Cage Match rating of 9.5, we here at Honor Wrestling Club have given this 9.25. Bryan Danielson took on Kenta, which is in all capitals because you have to shout it, in one of the best matches in Ring of Honor history. This happened back in 2006, and both men proved why they were considered to be some of the best wrestlers in the world. Guess Bryan Danielson has never really changed, has he? This match had everything. Smooth technical prowess, the stiffest strikes imaginable outside of a Gunter clash, and some big moments such as Danielson's dive into the crowd despite an injured arm. The work around that arm helped to carry the match and give it some structure, adding to what was already a tremendous wrestling match. In number 8, we have Bryan Danielson vs John Cena from SummerSlam 2013. This has a Dave Meltzer rating of 4.5 stars and a Cage Match rating of 9.26, which almost perfectly matches Honor Wrestling Club's rating of 9.25. Daniel Bryan's first star-making victory came in WWE in a huge main event clash with John Cena, which absolutely stole the show at SummerSlam 2013. Cena put in an exceptional performance, especially considering he has a torn tricep during much of this match, and doing his best to match Bryan technically. However, he also used his power to gain the advantage over the smaller Danielson. The crowd was strongly behind Bryan, whose babyface ride was infectious, and he put in an absolutely perfect performance here. A big fight feel with a massive victory, and what a time to debut your new running knee finisher by beating John Cena clean, and it featured a shocking post-match angle to boot as well. In number 7, we have Bryan Danielson vs Zack Sabre Jr. from WrestleDream 2023. This has a Dave Meltzer rating of 5.5 stars and a Cage Match rating of 9.6 stars. We here at Honor Wrestling Club are giving this 9.25 out of 10. Two of the very best technical wrestlers in the world went out there at WrestleDream and had one of the best technical matches of the whole year, as you'd expect. I mean, we say two of the best technical wrestlers in the world. The award of the Wrestling Observer is named after Bryan Danielson, and he won it for a lot of years in a row. And then when he went to WWE, he stopped winning it, and Zack Sabre Jr. won it for many years in a row. And then Daniel Bryan went to AEW, and he then began winning it again. So this was a dream match that many thought would never happen. However, this match was all about mat work, submissions, transitions, and feeling each other out, traversing through the match in an ingenious way which was captivating to watch. Without big moves, near falls, and the classic tropes of a wrestling match, this still kept up excitement and had the crowd invested all the way up to the finish, with Nigel McGuinness losing his mind over the fact that Bryan Danielson had to cheat and use a wrestling move to beat Zack Sabre Jr. In number 6, we have Bryan Danielson vs Kenny Omega from AEW Dynamite Grand Slam 2021. This is a Dave Meltzer rating of 5 stars, a cage match rating of 9.55 stars, and we here at Honor Wrestling Club are giving this 9.25 out of 10. Bryan Danielson's first ever AEW match was a dream clash with Kenny Omega in front of the most electric crowds ever seen for a single bout in the company. And this happened 2 weeks following his electric debut at All Out 2021. The audience elevated this a great deal, giving it a distinct big fight feel. The technical wrestling, the sequences, and the back and forth were all stunning, though due to a lack of major build, it did lack in the storytelling department just a little bit. Despite this being a 5-star classic, it did also feel like they were holding back and had another level to reach, which just goes to show how good these two are. And even though it did end in a disappointing draw, you cannot deny the absolute quality of that match. In number 5, we have Bryan Danielson vs Triple H from WrestleMania 30. With a Dave Meltzer rating of 4.25 and a cage match rating of 8.94, we here at Honor Wrestling Club have given this a 9.5 out of 10. One of the very best WrestleManias of all time, opened with one of the best openers of all time. We generally argue between this and the Bret and Owen match from Mania 10, but that's pretty esteemed company to be in. Triple H took on Daniel Bryan in a hugely heated match between the two rivals. This had a great level of intensity, and despite the more technical and methodical approach, the hatred all came through. Triple H put in one of the most technically apt performances of his whole career, implementing different moves and looking crisp while doing so. The crowd were electric for this, as Bryan scored a huge win, setting up a main event later in the night. There was just enough well-placed doubt in this one to really amp up the whole feeling of the crowd, and it helps that Bryan was the hottest thing in wrestling. In number 4, we have Bryan Danielson vs Nigel McGuinness from Ring of Honor Unified 2006. This has a Dave Meltzer rating of 4.75 and a cage match rating of 9.59, and we here at Honor Wrestling Club have given this 9.5 out of 10. Nigel McGuinness is one of Danielson's most storied rivals, and their best match together came at the Unified event in 2006 in Ring of Honor, where they tore the house down in a classic match. There was high stakes due to it being a unification bout, their rivalry was heated, and it just felt like a tough fight between two badass fighters. It was rough, stiff, and cringe-inducing at points due to the hard strikes and impact moves, on top of all the technical wrestling and brilliant transitions too. It wasn't 100% perfect from a selling point of view, but the emotion was all there, and it was tremendous to watch. In the bronze medal position, we have Bryan Danielson vs Hangman Adam Page from Winter is Coming 2021. This has a Dave Meltzer rating of 5 stars and a cage match rating of 9.54, and we here at Honor Wrestling Club are giving this 9.75 out of 10. Adam Page's first defense of his newly won AEW World Championship came in a breathtaking 60-minute time limit draw against Danielson. Despite this match lasting for an hour, the action never tired, and much of this was due to the stunning heel work of Danielson, whose character in this match was brutal, hard-hitting and arrogant. This hour of action flew by, which is a testament to how incredible this match was. In number 2, we have Bryan Danielson vs Will Ospreay from AEW Dynasty 2024. With a cage match rating of 9.68 and a Dave Meltzer rating of 6.5 stars. We here at Honor Wrestling Club have given this 9.75 out of 10. For many, this will be the best match of Bryan Danielson's entire career. And if it is, I can't really argue with you. The chemistry between these two men was out of this world, with thunderous moves, great sequences, and one of the most electric crowds in AEW history. The end of the match angle is the only thing that takes it away from being perfect, as the whole match was stunning from the opening bell. Ospreay in particular shone as a star in the making, looking like a match to Danielson and more than ready to carry the mantle of best wrestler in the world and take that away from the American Dragon. And in number 1, we have Bryan Danielson vs MJF from AEW Revolution 2023, with a Dave Meltzer rating of 5.75 stars and a cage match rating of 9.61, and we here at Honor Wrestling Club have given this 9.75 out of 10. To put it simply, this is one of the best matches in AEW history, and for some fans it might even be number 1. Never has an Iron Man match had the consistent pace and crowd retention as this one, as MJF and Bryan Danielson put together a psychological masterclass for over an hour. The technical showcase from both men was stunning, with MJF in particular turning heads by proving he is not only a phenomenal talker, but among the absolute best in-ring workers in the world too. Despite the predictable nature of this match, as it was never really in doubt that MJF was going to lose his belt here, especially with the whole bidding war of 2024 storyline going on, the crowd fell for several near falls, especially when Danielson pulled up the yes chant for the first time in All Elite Wrestling. Alright, there you have it. There's our list. So what do you think? What is your favourite Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson match of all time? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click the like button and the subscribe button and that notification bell to never miss out on any of the content we produce here at On a Wrestling Club. So check out other videos. We have one of these types of videos on Seth Rollins and on Kurt Angle, so be sure to check them out as well. However, there you have it. So that's all for today. So I'd just like to thank you for watching and welcome you to the club. See ya!